Hi everybody, my name is Angela Cleary. I'm a feminine empowerment coach and I specialise in healing after narcissistic abuse. So today I want to talk about opening your heart. Opening your heart to be able to trust again. And not just trust other people, but to trust yourself. Because when we close our heart, we tend to put walls up. We tend to put guards around our heart due to past traumas, due to past pain, due to, I suppose, relationships, and any kind of hurt we had in the past. Whether it even actually doesn't have to be relationships, it can be to do with life experiences as well. When something is given to us and taken away, we tend to close up. When we lose something, we tend to close up. But when we close our hearts, we're not just closing our hearts to the world, to other people, to opportunities. We actually close our hearts to ourselves as well. And, to try and find that trust within yourself again is probably one of the hardest things to do. Like, my whole life, I've had a pretty closed off heart. It was open to give love, but I was always finding it very hard to open it to receive love. And, when I did have, a lot of family and friends around me, my heart was more open. But because of my spiritual journey, I've had to walk away from a lot of people. I've had a lot of toxic relationships in my past. I've had to walk away from those, but I've also had to walk away from friendships that were no longer in alignment with me. I've had to walk away from family members as well. Now, this led me to close my heart so completely, more so than I have ever closed it before. And I went through a heart awakening last year, and this reminded me this showed me how closed I was to everything. I was closed to the whole world. I locked myself into this bubble. Because of my experiences with toxic people, I lost all sense of who I was. All ambitions I had, all goals and dreams I had, all self-belief I had disappeared. And it disappeared completely. I had to make the hardest decisions to walk away from family members because of this, because I had lost myself so completely. And this led me to close my heart more than I had ever closed it before. There was steel doors around it. And when I went through this heart awakening last year, I got a glimpse of how closed off I was, and I got a glimpse of what it would be like to open it again. Because I was so closed off, I stopped trusting everything. I stopped trusting people. I stopped trusting in opportunities. I stopped trusting in the universe. And worst of all, I actually stopped trusting myself. And when we don't trust ourselves, we tend to, we lack self-belief. We lack worthiness. We lack feeling, we have a very victim mentality. We lack any trust in being able to transform our lives again. And, I started my spiritual journey in 2018. So, I went very high vibe for a long time at the start of that. When I discovered the law of attraction and manifestation. And, I was living the high life in a sense. But because of all the dark night of the soul and having to walk away from so many people, I went down again. And the trust thing was major for me. I couldn't even get excited. I had to ask myself, why wasn't I allowing myself to get excited? Every time I got excited last year, I kind of go, no, you can't do that, and kind of close off a little bit. Because I was afraid. I was afraid to get excited about anything because I was afraid, because I'd lost so much, even though I chose to walk away from these situations, I'd lost so much that I was afraid that if I let anything into my life again, I would just lose it and I would be abandoned again. I have a very, very, my core wound is an abandonment wound due to my mother leaving when I was a child. So that keeps getting triggered with everything that has happened over the last few years. And this has led obviously with inner child healing, I've been able to open up again, but this led me to completely close my walls up. It was so bad. I feared letting anyone into my life again. I feared trusting anyone or anything again. I disconnected from source. I disconnected from the universe. I disconnected from my heart because I disconnected from myself, and I couldn't even trust myself anymore. I lost faith in my potential. I lost faith in my abilities. So, you know, when we close our hearts off, it's closing it off to the world, to others, but it's closing it off to who you are. And I think that was the hardest part for me, like, you know, because when you're closed away, when you're disconnected from your heart center, you're disconnected from your true being. And I lost a lot of who I was because I allowed toxic energy to seep and suck all that life force energy out of me. And being disconnected from your heart, it's lonely. It's very isolating. And you know, I'm a hermit anyway, and I do love my space and I love my own time. Because of what happened and because I'm closing my heart so much, I shut the whole world out. And unconsciously I shut everything, opportunities out as well. Like, it's not just romantic relationships. Like, I've chosen to be single for such a long time to heal my heart, to prevent me from attracting toxic energy into my life again. But because of what happened, I suppose, over the last couple of years, I've really I seized up. I was so blocked away from everything, and I still had love to give. You know, like, that was the thing. Like, when it came to animals and nature, my heart was bursting with love and joy. When it came to helping my friends or clients or family members, my heart was bursting with love and joy to give. But I was so closed off to receiving it. But when you're not even just closing off from receiving love from externally, you're closing yourself off from receiving your own love. And, you know, I've done a lot of growth over the last few years. So, you know, I've come to love myself. But because of my relapse, I was like so closed off to even who I was. I lost sight of who I was. I lost my excitement. I lost my energy because I was so scared if I allowed any bit of excitement into my life or anything exciting into my life that I'd lose it again. So I felt, is it not just easier to stay closed, to stay in this comfort zone, to stay in this bubble? Is it not just easier to stay protected and not open my heart again? Is that not, like, you know, if I don't open my heart, I can't get hurt. That's the way I was feeling. And, like, you know, I didn't even understand this until lately, because I've been doing a 30-day, today is the last day actually, a 30-day heart coherence meditation challenge. So it was heart meditations every day for the last 30 days. And it's only because of that, and because I did breathwork sessions as well lately, they showed me the blocks I had around the breathwork sessions showed me the blocks I had around my heart. But the heart coherence meditations over the last 30 days have actually really helped me to open my heart. And it made me realize how I was blocking my own abundance, how I was blocking opportunities, not just people, but opportunities. You know, my circle has become so small. I find, you know, because I've been hurt so much, I found it very hard to trust and to allow other people in. And I've got a great online support community, loads of soul sisters coming in. So, like, you know, I have people that I trust and I'm close to. But I was fearing letting anyone into my physical reality again, for fear of being hurt, for fear of being abandoned again, for fear of everyone leaving, and, like, for, you know, and that's the way my inner child felt. Because my heart was so closed off, it was like, why is everyone leaving? What is wrong with me? Like, what did I do that no one wants to stay? And it wasn't even that. Like, I chose to walk away from situations, you know, but that will still trigger the abandonment wound. That will still trigger the walls coming in, closing around your heart. And with this heart coherence meditations I've been doing for the last 30 days, I have felt an expansion. I have felt my walls come down, and, like, it's beautiful, you know, and, like, it is beautiful. And, like, the love I feel for nature, for people, for this world has always been big. So when I feel that love, I feel it bursting through me. But when I think about trusting again, or when I was thinking about letting love in again, I'd seize up and I would close again. And what I did notice through my heart awakening over the last year was, even though I close, anytime I opened a little bit, it would open that much bigger than it was previously. But then I close again because of fear, because of self-sabotage even. Do you know? And, like, I noticed that, like because I'm opening my heart, there is love, more love and abundance coming into my life. But because of how I've been, I close up again. And I'm like, should I do this? Should I allow stuff into my life? Should I allow these opportunities in? Should I allow this love in? Should I allow more friendships in? Should I allow this in? Or would it not be easier for me to stay stuck in my little box and not open my heart and not get hurt again? And that's what I've been thinking. I have genuinely been thinking that over the last couple of weeks. Is like, would it not be easier to just stay the way I am? And that's heartbreaking because, you know, I was watching a movie and this triggered this emotion in me. Like, no matter how brief an interaction is, or like that, this is with anything, with a human, another human, with a romantic person, with an animal, with nature, no matter how brief that love is, it's profound. It's otherworldly. It's ecstasy. So, you know, I question, would it not be easier to stay closed and never allow myself the opportunity to be hurt again? Or isn't it just beautiful to try? To try and open your heart, to try and let that love in. Because it is that phrase, it's better to have loved and lost than never have loved at all. And that is so true. And, you know, like, I look back on all my experiences and I've been hurt so many times over and over and over and over again, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because there was those brief moments, maybe some of them are longer, and doesn't matter what the length of time was for those moments, they were magical. When you open your heart, when you open to love for yourself and for everything around you, it is magical. And that is the beauty of it. It's so energetic, it's so uplifting, it's so I don't know, it's enlightening, it's empowering. That's what it is. To actually be able to receive love as well as give it. Like, you know, and as I said, I've always been the giver of love. But to actually allow that love in, and even to give the love to myself, it's beautiful feeling. And, like, you know, as I said, no matter how brief, even if it's just for a split second, to feel that feeling is just, it's worth it. And I'm starting to feel that now again. I'm starting to kind of go, like, I used to get excited for life. I'm getting there now again, thankfully. But I used to get so excited for life, and I didn't care what happened. I wasn't thinking the negative. I was like so full of love and so full of joy that I was like, yeah, bring it. I want it all. I want all of it. I want all of it. Because I'm so full of love, giving and receiving. But to close off again, I was just like, you know, and it's like, it is likened to the comfort zone. You know, it's so, you think it's comfortable, but it's not. You know, you think you're saving yourself from pain by closing your heart off. But it's actually worse. It's more painful. It's more, like, as I said, I love my space. I love my alone time. But when my heart was so closed off, it was lonely. And it was the first time in years that I felt loneliness, because I was disconnected from my heart center. I was disconnected from myself. And that's the thing. Self-trust is a big one when it comes to opening to your heart being open. I stopped trusting myself. I stopped trusting in my abilities, in my power, in my talents. Like, I'd lost all sense of self, that I thought I wasn't worthy anymore. And so therefore I didn't believe I could achieve what I once thought I could. And that's heartbreaking, because I have a gift that I want to share with this world. I want to share my heart with the world. But because of my relapse last year, I disconnected completely from all of that. And even though I had my heart open enough to give love, I was still, I suppose, repressing some of that. I wasn't giving fully. I wasn't giving fully to myself, but I wasn't giving fully to the world. And like, I did a breathwork session the other day, and it blew my mind, because it made me realize that I felt unsafe. I felt that I was safer to be in my box. It was safer not to let love in, not to let the world in, not to let these opportunities in. But with that breathwork session, I I realized that it's not like the universe told me, my guides told me, it is now safe to let the world in. It is now safe to let my guard down. It is now safe to let love in. And it's now safe to let this abundance into my life. It's now safe to trust myself. And it's now safe to trust others. And this was really, it was really enlightening for me. It was really mind-blowing for me because I didn't connect all the dots. You know, I knew everything. I knew I had blocks. I knew I had this, that, the other. But it was actually a feeling of unsafety that I had as well. And like, because of my lack of trust in myself, I was blocking my abundance. I was blocking these opportunities coming in. And I was blocking my spiritual abilities as well, my intuition. Because when you don't trust yourself, you don't trust your intuition, you don't trust your soul, you don't trust the truth within you, you start to believe the ego mind and the fears more and more. And that's what I was starting to do. I was allowing fear into my life because I didn't trust myself anymore. And I didn't trust anything. And I did feel like I was safer to stay in my little bubble and not let the world in, and not let these opportunities in, and not let love in. And you know, as I said, I've been a single by choice and unavailable for a good few years now, because I was healing my heart. I didn't want to attract narcissistic relationships again. So I was healing, and I was on this long healing journey, and this was my goal, was to open my heart completely and to love myself enough that I would attract healthy love into my life. But because of the relapse last year, there was a lot of closing up, and a lot of guards went back up, bigger guards than I've ever had. But because of the meditations and the breathwork sessions I've been doing over the last 30 days, my heart is opening up again, and there's opportunities coming into my life, and like, it's mind blowing because they're actually healthy opportunities. They're opportunities I can trust. And you know, even though I know that now, it's still hard for me because I'm still kind of going, oh, stay in my little box. I'll stay here where it's safe. And that's what that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm staying where it's safe. But I think it's safer to love. I think it's safer to let love in. I think it's safer to let those opportunities in. I think it's beautiful because, like, the magic we have within our hearts, the magic we can create because of love, and unconditional love for ourselves and the world around us. When we radiate on that high vibration of love, magic is real, and magic comes into your life out of nowhere. You know, and it's beautiful. I read something lovely today, like, you know, if we close our heart off and, you know, we think we're safer in this box, then we won't be able to hear the sound of true love knocking on our door. And that's the thing. If we stay closed off, we're not going to hear or see when that love does enter. And like, it's gas because, like, I did 30, today was day 30 of that meditation challenge, and bang in the middle of it, love knocked on my door. And it's just like, what? Really? So, you know, more opportunity, as my heart is opening because of this, there's more opportunities coming into my life. There's more abundance coming into my life. And I feel good. I feel really good. You know, when I was in that closed off heart space, I was triggered so much. I was getting angry. I was getting emotional. I know my triggers, and I face them, and I think all triggers are beneficial for healing. But I was still in a cloud. And I find that when we have our hearts closed, is we're in this cloud of black and white. We're in this negative energy of darkness. And we're afraid to let the world in. We're afraid to let anything in. So we just stay in this bubble. We're like, please don't look at me. I won't look at you. And I'm not here. I'm invisible. Don't even see me. You kind of just want to hide. But when you start to open up your heart again, it's like there's colours, rainbows everywhere. And it's just magical. And it's beautiful. And the way I feel, my confidence is growing because of this as well. And my creativity is coming back. My self-belief, my self-trust is coming back. My talents are growing because I'm starting to believe in myself again. I'm starting to see parts of myself that I'd suppressed because of my fear and because of my lack of self-trust. And like, I'm starting to reopen all this again, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Because I forgot those parts of me existed because I was so afraid that, if I let myself feel these things again, I would just feel rejection and failure and abandonment all over again. So to find my creativity again, to find my colour again, to find my own inner beauty again, you know, like I can feel it. I feel I'm glowing. Do you know what I mean? I can feel that I'm bursting full of joy and love, and I love that. Like, I really do. And like, you know, it's been a hard journey to get to where I am now. It's been a hard journey to open my heart. And don't get me wrong, I'm still in the phase of like literally the last few weeks anyway, I'm literally kind of going open heart, whoop, close again, open, close, open, close. And it's like literally like, it's like a trap door at this stage. But like every time it does open, it opens bigger than it did before. And then again, bigger again and bigger again. So I'm seeing more parts of my heart and more parts of myself every time I do open. And don't get me wrong, because I'm still kind of doing the healing and stuff, I am kind of going like a trap door, and it's like every few minutes it's like closed off again to do a little bit more healing, which is grand because I want to do this healing before, you know, before the next steps in my life. Like, you know, I want to know what parts of my heart that I need to heal so that I can let love in fully. So like my heart is more open than it was, but there is still those doors that close every so often, kind of going, should I, maybe not. But like the more I am opening up, the more I'm recognizing that it's better to love, even briefly, than it is not to experience it at all. And that's it. Like, you know, that movie I saw, like she literally was not open to this relationship because she was like, no, I'm not going to get into a relationship. I'm only going to get hurt. You know, I'll stay on my own, happy days. And it just reminded me so much of myself. And I was like, you know I've been healing consciously for the last 2 years, but I cannot let in love again unless I trust myself again, unless I allow those walls to come down. And that's it. You know, do I want to stay in this bubble of black and white that I think I'm comfortable, afraid to like stay closed off and like prevent myself from getting hurt again? Or live, take the risk, have the fun, whatever happens, happens, and just know that you're going to be better for that experience, no matter how brief and no matter what it is, whether it's a friendship, family or relationships, whether it's an animal, whether it's a bit of nature, no matter how brief an interaction is, it's beautiful and it should be cherished, you know. So we should stop fearing the worst and start hoping for the best. Start trusting in ourselves again. Start trusting in the universe and start trusting in the magic within us. Start trusting in love again. Break those walls down. And there's a few ways of opening your heart. There's obviously that self-care, the self-nurturing. There's inner child healing, which I find so beneficial to nurture your inner child, because the more you nurture your inner child, the more you nurture yourself and the more you can love yourself. This is a great way to open your heart. Being in nature, because the heart chakra radiates a green frequency. Being in nature, being around green, being connected to Mother Gaia is a great way to open your heart, and seeing the beauty in nature as well. Like, you know, I went for a walk earlier on and like, you know, I went down in my hunkers just to look at a flower, just this tiny little flower. And that brief moment just fills you with such joy. Being with your animals, being with your pets, that's beauty. That will open your heart. Doing meditations, or even the heart coherence meditation challenge that I did, brilliant for opening your heart. Breath work. I think breath work has been the best modality for me to actually get massive breakthroughs around my heart blocks. Really good. And, you know, any kind of mindful meditation, anything that fills you with joy. You know, gardening even. Gardening is lovely because obviously you're connecting to that green as well. Like, a really great way to open your heart and connect to Gaia. Eating green foods is actually really good as well. But just self-care and self-nurturing and being kind to yourself. Loving yourself first, and then you can start to trust yourself first. You can start to trust the universe, then you can start to trust other people, and then this magic love, these opportunities, this abundance is just going to flow naturally into your life, effortlessly, once you heal that heart chakra, let your walls down, and don't be scared. You know, and that's like when I do these videos, I'm literally therapizing myself as well, kind of, you know, I'm trying to tell myself as well not to be scared, because it is so hard to open that heart fully. And that is my biggest goal for the foreseeable future. My goal is to open my heart so fully that I will never ever close it again, ever. That's my goal. That's the outcome I want to see. So do that. Do you know, trust yourself again. That's the beauty. Trusting yourself is the big one. Because when we can love and trust ourselves, that's when the magic happens, and that's when the love flows in. So thank you so much for listening today, and I really hope this resonates. If it does, please like and share, and please subscribe to my channel so I can reach as many people as possible. And if you'd like help on your journey, please book me for a discovery call today, and I would love nothing more than to help you on your path. Thanks, bye-bye.